I don't know if this was just kind of a last minute idea. I don't know if there's anybody going to even be here. I could just be talking to myself. You never know. You never know. But I have a feeling there's somebody out there working that wants somebody to work with. So we'll just wait and see if anybody pops in. I'm working tonight on my Chuck Kinson for the Chuck Along Country Blessings. It is a 93 by 70 centimeter square diamond painting from Diamond Art Club, obviously, because, well, not, I guess not too obviously. Chuck used to be licensed also by Dreamer Designs, and I know outside of the U.S., he is also licensed by Create, Love, Share. I believe. I think so. I think that's the name of the company. I could be wrong. But I'm doing really well with this. I've got quite a bit done. I've got, let's see, how many, well, I could count sections. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 14, 15, 16 sections done. So that's not too bad. Not too bad at all. So I'm just bored at Maddie's house. Thought I would pop on and go live and chat with all you fine folks. And I don't know what color I have out. I pulled it out of here and it's in my tray, but I don't know what color it is. Oh, it's Y. Okay. Those kind of shifted. Woo! Jeez. Is anybody else doing Chuck Along? If you are, what are you working on? Oh, we got a few people stopping in. Deborah's here. Hi, Deborah. Joe's here. Hi, Joe and Tammy. And Sue. Hi, Sue. I worked on your blanket for a long time today and yesterday. It's getting big. It's getting heavy. And I'm a little bit worried about that blanket. I've got it sitting right here. I could show it to you guys and let you see how it's looking. I got yarn attached. I'm a little worried, Sue. I got to do some research because I'm using Hobby Lobby yarn. It's from their Yarn Bee. It's called Fresh Haven. It's 100% lyocell, which is a plant-based fiber, so it's like a very silky cotton. It's really, really nice, but it makes for a very heavy blanket, which is a good thing. But it's not going to be... It would be a good summer blanket too. Whoa, I smashed my camera. But this is what it is looking like. So, I mean, it's much bigger than that. I don't have my tape measure out to see how big it is right now, but I would say it's probably 4 foot by 4 foot at this point. So I'm just showing you the center of it, and then it goes, you know, down and down and down. But these were the colors that Sue picked. And I love them. They're so pretty. But I hope that I'm not going to be in trouble because I'm going to have to get more yarn again for this. And Hobby Lobby is having a really big yarn clearance sale right now. And I heard that the reason why they're having that big sale is because they're discontinuing a lot of their yarns. So I am a little bit scared that this might be one of the yarns that gets discontinued. So I need to go to my local Hobby Lobby and make sure that that's not going to be the case, because I am going to need more of these colors. Either that or this is going to become a lapgan rather than a full afghan. Oh, Deborah, you're doing Island Life? Cool. Thanks, you guys. Thank you so much. Island Life is fun, nice and summer inspired. Makes you not think about the dreariness. I don't know what it is. It's weird. Madeline only lives 2 hours to the southeast of me. And you would think the farther north you would go, the more snow you would get in Michigan. That's what I always thought anyway. But since I have been here, it has snowed more here than it has snowed up north where I live, which is interesting. We've gotten quite a bit of snow. It snowed all day and all night yesterday, and then it also snowed part of the day today. And so I haven't been out and about. Not that I go out and about anyway, but I haven't been out of the house. Daddy worked from home yesterday and today, so we've been together. This is the longest I have been continuously with any one of my kids in probably their lives, you know, because we've gone to work, gone to school, done our own social things, since they were very young, you know, I mean, definitely as an adult child. Hey Nancy, how are you? So it's a little bit weird to be spending all this time with her. I I think we're starting to get on each other's nerves a little bit. So she went out with her friends for a little while this evening, and I thought I would just pop on and chat with my friends since she was going with her friends. But yeah, I think we are, by the end of this week, we are going to need a vacation from one another. And it's weird because we're like best friends. I mean, I talk to her every day, but spending this much time in such close quarters, because she doesn't have it's a 3-bedroom house, but it's not very large, you know, and my bedroom, the guest bedroom, is actually her home office as well. So she goes to work in the morning and I gotta, you know, scramble out of there. And it depends on, she just has to work 8 hours, and she has to be done working by 7 p.m. So she can kind of tailor her own schedule when she's working from home, whether she wants to clock in early and get done early, or if she wants to sleep in and have to work late. And she's horrible with mornings. So most of the time she ends up clocking in a little bit late and working a little bit late. So, but you know what? That's her personal preference. There's first shift people and second shift people. And if you're not a morning person, you're just not a morning person. But I can't imagine. Hi, Lisa. Lisa's here. And Joe. Hi, Joe. I can't imagine living with my adult children after this 2-week experience that we've had here. And as many of you know, Maddie and Austin are moving back up north to Saginaw, where she's from. He's always been from Detroit. He grew up here in Detroit. And so it's going to be a little bit of a culture shock for him because they're moving into Maddie's grandma's house, which is out in the country. And he is definitely used to city life. He's going to be a total fish out of water when he gets there. It's going to be a big, big adjustment for them, for him especially. There's 10 acres of land. There's, you know, a lot of lawn to mow. There's a lot of upkeep on the house. It's a 7-bedroom farmhouse. There's a lot going on there, and so he's gonna have to put on his big boy britches. The other reason I wanted to go live is because I needed a little distraction. I suffer from some health issues that cause chronic pain, and I do take prescription pain medication. And when we left the house on Sunday, because we went home for the weekend, when we left the house on Sunday, I forgot my pain meds. So I am in a world of hurt. And I'm not going to drive 2 hours home and 2 hours back down here, only to drive that 2 hours again on Friday when I go home for good. So I am just toughing it out with Motrin and muscle relaxers right now, but it's not really cutting the mustard. It's not really doing the job like what I'm used to. So I thought, hey, maybe if I go live and chit chat with people. Oh, you know what? Speaking of one thing, I want to chit chat with you guys. Deborah, you're not a morning person? Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, as I am getting older, I'm better in the morning, but it's still not my fave. I'm definitely a second shift person. I'm definitely like I can go all night. You know what I mean? Like I love working. I love being up in the middle of the night when no one else is awake. It seems like I can get so much more done if I work through the night rather than during the day. And I don't know why that is. I really don't. But I feel like I'm most productive in the middle of the night. So I did start a couple other, of course, because of course I did. I finished that blanket while I was here last week. I told you guys that on Saturday. I started this sweater for my granddaughter using this Bernat pop yarn. We got this just at the grocery store when we went there. They had it on clearance. It's regularly $5.49. I got this for $2.27 because it was on clearance for $4.11, and then they took another percentage off that. But it's this cute, isn't that a cute stitch? And I love the colors, the way the stripes are working up on it. So that's going to be a nice little spring sweater for my granddaughter. And then I started a sweater for myself as well. Where did I put that? That's sitting right next to me too. I'm using the Colorama Halo yarn. And this is one of Bag-A-Day Crochet's patterns. But this is the stitch pattern that is going to be. And I love this yarn because it has like a nice fuzzy halo on it. And it's really, really soft. So this is going to be 2 panels. It's kind of going to be like a wide necked off the shoulder when you're done with it. I just started it this afternoon. I don't have very much done on it at all. But it's a real easy pattern to follow. Oh, hi Sherry, how are you? Yeah, morning people are a special breed. They are. They really, really are. You know, I want to ask you guys something though. Okay, so I remember when Country Blessings came out. The thing was that there were hidden pictures in the cows, right? So I've done all the cows. So I've got this guy here, and that guy, and that guy, and that guy, and that guy. And I guess I still have to do this little guy over here. But he's just he's a lot smaller than the rest of them. What were the hidden pictures supposed to be? Does anybody remember? Or can anybody see them? Because I'm thinking because I'm looking too close at it, I'm just not seeing what the hidden picture is supposed to be. Does anybody remember what they were supposed to be? And the little, the picture on I've got this picture, but this is pretty small to look at to try to see as well. I can't remember. Cannot remember. Yeah, one was a smiley face, and I think that's this one. But the way that the drills went in, it didn't end up looking much like a smiley face. This to me looks like a man running, kind of. See, with his head and his arms and his legs running. But I don't know. I think it's just, in the painting itself is probably very apparent. But in the diamond painting, they probably, you know, because everything has to get kind of compressed and pixelated a little bit. I think that it's a little bit harder to see. As a farmer, yeah, maybe that's the farmer with his hat. Maybe. I don't know. I was just looking at this and I was trying to remember what all those hidden images were, and I could not for the life of me remember what they were. So Maddie went out tonight. She went to meet her girlfriend at a saloon. I like to call it a saloon. At a saloon for a happy hour beverage. And then they were going to go over to another friend's house a little bit later and watch The Bachelor together. I guess that's like a weekly thing that they get together, a group of friends gets together and does, is watch The Bachelor. I've never really been much into those Bachelor shows. I don't know, just not my thing. Right now, I'm watching, there's a couple things Maddie and I have been watching. We watch, it's called The Servant. No, just Servant. It's on Apple Plus, I think, or Apple TV. It's directed by that M. Night Shyamalan, who does all the horror, like thriller type drama movies. And it's freaky. It's really a creepy show. If you're into If you're into like psychological creepy shows, it's a pretty good one. It has Ron Weasley is one of the characters. I mean, not he's not in it as Ron Weasley, but the guy who played Ron Weasley in the Harry Potter movies is in it as an American, actually. And I don't know if he is, I don't know if he's American and he put on a British accent to play Ron Weasley or vice versa. So I'm not, yeah, I'm not sure. And then the other show that I started watching this afternoon is called The Unfortunate Traveler. Is that what it's called? Let me see. I've got it. It should still be The Reluctant Traveler by or with Eugene Levy. He's the guy that was in the movie American Pie. He was the dad, and he was also in Schitt's Creek. He was Mr. Rose, Johnny Rose in Schitt's Creek. You know, he's the guy with the big eyebrows. He's got gray hair and then big black eyebrows. And it's pretty good. It's pretty funny because he's a guy who doesn't like to travel and he's doing a travel show. So that's kind of funny. He's doing all these things that he doesn't really feel comfortable doing. What about you guys? Are you guys travelers or homebodies? Are you adventurous or are you more of an introvert? Would you prefer to stay home? If you had the chance, would you take a vacation trip somewhere or a staycation and just hang around the house? I'm definitely, in my younger years, I was someone who loved to travel. I loved road trips. I loved going new places and seeing new things and eating new foods and meeting new people. Probably the favorite place I've ever traveled to was New Orleans. I had a friend who lived in New Orleans, and he lived right in the French Quarter on Royal Street, and which is just one off from Bourbon Street. And he lived in a second-story apartment, so he had the wrought iron balcony, and we could, hang out on the wrought iron balcony and watch all the revelers going by, and into the wee hours of the morning. We sometimes were those revelers into the wee hours of the morning. And I remember the one time I went there, I think it was the first time I went there, I was so shocked because, now you have to remember, I was in my 20s when this happened. I was in my early to mid 20s when this was going down. So, I was a different person back then. But I was amazed by the fact that there was no end of drinking time in New Orleans. Like in Michigan, the bars close at 2 a.m. You get last call at 1:45, and at 2 o'clock you got to be out of there. And that's 2 o'clock bar time, which bar time runs, and I don't know if this is universal either, but bar time runs 10 minutes faster than real time. So 2 o'clock bar time is only 1:50 real time. And I was just amazed at the fact that in New Orleans, there was no closing time. You could drink in a bar, bars were open 24 hours a day. So I decided that one night we were going to watch the sunrise from a bar stool. We were going to stay out at the bar all night long and just do it up. And we did. And I remember walking back to his apartment with feeling horrible with my sunglasses on and just really, really, really regretting that decision. It was not a good look. It was, no. I had a lot of really good times in my younger years. That day was not a good one. That was not one of my better ideas. But let's see what you guys have to say. Tammy said she'd stay home. Emma says a vacation. Joe likes to travel but doesn't get to. Hey, Ginger, how you doing? Deborah's a homebody, introvert. Tammy says take the grandchildren on a road trip every year in June. somewhere different. That's awesome. This year we from Colorado to Wisconsin. That'll be a cool trip. I have never been to Colorado. That's one state I've never been to. I did, my sister lived in Phoenix. This is the closest I've ever been to Colorado, and it's not really that very close at all. My sister lived in Phoenix for a little while, a number of years ago, and I flew out there to visit her because she had just had a baby. But she had my oldest nephew, and I rented a car. And one of the days I decided I was going to take myself on a little road trip, and I was going to drive all the way up to the Grand Canyon. I was going to drive to the Grand Canyon and drive back. So, and I did, and so I think I don't know if I've told this story before, how I've been to the Grand Canyon twice, but I've never seen it. Yes, so I've been to the Grand Canyon twice in my life, but I've never seen it. This was the first time I went to the Grand Canyon and didn't see it. Drove all day to get there from Phoenix. Went through Flagstaff and Sedona, which were very cool. Got to see some really neat things there. Went to, what is it, Slide Rock? Is that what that's called? Slide Rock, I think, is the name of the place, which is a very, very cool, it's like a water slide. It's like a natural water slide. It looked so fun. I didn't have a bathing suit or anything, so I didn't do it, but everybody was having a blast. I was really jealous. But so I got all the way, and coming from Phoenix, it was sunny and beautiful. I got all the way up to the Grand Canyon, and it was pea soup foggy. So foggy that you could barely see, if you outstretched your arm, you could barely see your fingers in front of your face. And so there was lots of tour groups on buses. There was a tour group, and I was by myself, and this was before cell phones and stuff with pictures and taking selfies and stuff like that. But I had my camera, of course. So I asked these people to take a picture of me, and they looked at me like I was crazy because you couldn't see anything. So I have a picture of me standing on the edge of the Grand Canyon, but you can't see anything. It's just looking out into fog. It was kind of hilarious because it was a long and stressful journey by myself. It was a full day of travel to get there. It was funny. It was funny. And the second time I went to the Grand Canyon and never saw it, Jeff and I got married in Las Vegas, and we rented a car, and we are not real big gamblers, so we wanted to do some other kinds of sightseeing, and we went to like Red Rock Canyon, and then the one day we went to the Hoover Dam. Took the dam tour, asked some damn questions, had some damn lunch, and then we said, we're not very far away from the Grand Canyon. As the crow flies, we're not that far away from the Grand Canyon. So we're talking to the lady in the gift shop, and she's like, yeah, you're, so many hours away from the main entrance, but there's a west entrance to it. And we're fairly close to that. You could go to the west entrance. So she hands us this little slip of typewritten instructions. I mean, seriously, this slip of paper was about this big, of typewritten instructions of how to get to this west entrance from where we were at the Hoover Dam. So, we were young and adventurous, so we said, why not? Let's go for it. So the car we had rented was a Mustang convertible, all right? So just a little sporty type car. And we set off on this trek to go to the west entrance of the Grand Canyon. And this lady gives us, she makes it sound like it's no big deal. So suddenly we're on this kind of farm road. And farm road to the point that, have you guys ever been on a country road that they have steer bars or cattle bars? I think they call them cattle bars. There's actually bars across the roadway so that the cattle won't cross the road. So they had, there were ranging cattle in these places, and they had cattle bars on the road, and then we had to turn off, and we turn off onto this dirt road, and suddenly we're driving essentially in the desert with all of these hills and cliffs and bluffs above us, and we're in this little basin, and there's like streams running across the road that we had to like drive across. A couple times Jeff had to get out and like test the water and make sure it wasn't too deep so that the car could go through it. But there was no turning around because we were in like this basin surrounded by these small hill. I wouldn't call them mountains, but they were foothills, definitely. We were like in a canyon, but we couldn't get out. We had to keep going. So we soldiered on, and we got to the west entrance of the Grand Canyon just before sunset. And we thought, we're here. We did this. Let's see what's going on. Well, what the lady at the gift shop failed to mention to us is that the west entrance of the Grand Canyon is on a reservation. It's Native American owned land. So the only way you can get to the actual Grand Canyon to see it is through their welcome center, and the only way they would show it to us is if we hired a helicopter ride from them. And it was like $150 for this helicopter ride. You have to remember, this was back in, I don't know, when did we get married? 2005. So, we got about almost 20 years of inflation on that. So 150 then was probably like 250 now. And we would have done it. I mean, we were there, we had driven all that way. It was a once in a lifetime thing. We would have totally done it, except that the sun was literally setting on us. We would have, by the time we would have gotten up in the sky in this helicopter, it would have been so dark that we wouldn't have been able to see anything. So we were like, no, okay, thanks anyway. So we turned around, about 200 feet from the edge of the Grand Canyon. They wouldn't let us get any closer. We turned around and headed back. And that was the second time that I went to the Grand Canyon and didn't see it. So I'm kind of giving up on the Grand Canyon in my life. I think it wasn't meant to be. It just wasn't meant to be. Berta's here. Hi, Berta. What are you doing, girl? Are you at home or are you traveling for work? I saw that you were traveling, what was it, Sunday? You had on Facebook that you were traveling? I was just talking about some of my travels. So, yeah, traveling is fun, but I think I'm over it. Then there was the time, oh my gosh, because I prided myself, I loved road trips. And I would pride myself in the fact that I would never take the same way home that I took there. I always wanted to see the most of, what could be seen. And I would always schedule pit stops for us when we would go, because we went to Florida every year for spring break. But we would always spend a couple days on the way there in a different place. Like we went to Savannah, Georgia, we went to Myrtle Beach, we went to Gatlinburg was one of our favorites. We went there multiple times. Asheville, North Carolina, which is a beautiful place. We went there. We went to, well, a lot of them we went to Charleston, North Carolina. Yeah, like Gatlinburg and Savannah, those were two of our favorite stops. So we tried to incorporate those like at least every other year. But I remember the one time, and like I said, I always like to take a different way. So there's a couple ways to get to Florida, or the part of Florida we were going to, from Michigan, from where we live in Michigan. You can avoid the Appalachian Mountains by taking I-75. It goes out and to the west and then back towards the east to get back to Florida. Well, that's no fun. I mean, first of all, you're going west to go east. Second of all, you're going to miss out on the mountains? I mean, really? Why would you want to miss out on the mountains? So this other way takes you right through the Great Smoky Mountain National Park, and which is through Gatlinburg, which is how we came to love Gatlinburg. So we didn't so much love it for the touristy parts of it as we loved it for the national park parts of it, because it borders right on the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. And we would do, day hikes and stuff like that in the national park. And the one time Nate and I were going to Florida. This was after the girls had grown up and left the house, and it was just Nate and I on spring break. And Nate was probably 9 or 10 years old, so not old enough to really be a co-pilot, but old enough to kind of know what was going on. Well, this was before the days of GPS on your cell. Well, no, that's not true. You had GPS on your cell phone, but in the mountains, you don't have cell coverage. You don't have data on your cell phone. So I was still relying on my Garmin for directions. So, and maps. I'm a big believer in atlases. I always carry a road atlas with me no matter where I go, even now to this day. I'm a big believer in road atlases. Love them. I think map reading is a skill that unfortunately our younger generation is never going to learn. I mean, my daughter has lived in Detroit for 6 years, and she still turns her navigation system on to drive home. And she comes home every other weekend. It's like, don't you know your way home by now? You would think you would know your way home by now. I don't know. I don't like somebody telling me where to go. If I want to go a different direction, I hate the lady who just keeps repeating herself and telling me, make a U-turn, make a U-turn. So I'm not a fan of navigation systems. Tammy, you've been camping in the Blue Ridge Park or Blue Ridge Mountains? That would be amazing. Back in my younger, fitter days, my ultimate goal in life was to hike the Appalachian Trail. I actually trained for it for about 3 summers. I would spend 5 to 7 days in the remote wilderness on hiking trails here in Michigan by myself to try to train to hike the Appalachian Trail. And then I ended up having health problems and that dream kind of disappeared. But that was one of my lifetime dreams, was to hike the Appalachian Trail. Someday I still would like to do maybe like a 3-day hike of it, of some leg of it. Obviously with someone, because I can't be trusted on my own. But not anymore. But yeah, that was I would love to camp in the Appalachian Mountains. That would be gorgeous. That area is probably one of my most favorite areas in the whole country that I have been to. Is the area in the Smoky Mountains area, Appalachia. Love all of it. Love all of it. What are you guys talking about? What would have to be pretty big? Cynthia, that's where you grew grew up was the Appalachian and Blue Ridge Mountains. That is so cool. I am so envious of you. That's literally my favorite place on earth. I love that area. I love the people there. I love the mountains. I love the vegetation, all the rhododendrons, and the sweet, sweet smell of spring. Of course, because we always traveled at the time of spring break, so the rhododendrons were all in bloom. It was, and our spring break here in Michigan, nothing is like the end of March, beginning of April. That's still winter for us. So by the time we got down to like Gatlinburg and it was, 70 degrees during the day, it felt like we were in heaven. To see stuff being green and blooming was just such a welcome sight. Okay, what am I missing? I'm missing these guys. I'm almost done with this section, you guys. I'm super excited about that. Somebody said, did you see the bear in the clouds? Oh, Tammy, did you see the bear in the clouds? What are you guys talking about? Chuck Prince, Alpine Serenity art piece. Oh, I haven't. Oh, I'll have to look at that. I haven't seen it. I'm gonna look at it right now. What's it called? Alpine Serenity. Chuck Pinson. Alpine. Did I say celebrity instead of serenity? Ooh, that is pretty. That's so gorgeous. What was it doing? Yeah, that's really pretty. It would have to be huge, I think, as a diamond painting. There's a lot of detail in that one. That'd be a fun one. That would be a really fun one to have, like, in one of the massive sizes like Dreamer Designs has been doing lately. I wanted to bring that canvas to work on, but I'm kind of glad I didn't because I got a lot of work done on this Chuck. You're from West Virginia. I love West Virginia. West Virginia is an awesome place. So beautiful there. So beautiful there. So yeah, we would take I-77 down, and then sometimes if and go through West. I think that's the one that goes through West Virginia the most. Oh goodness, where's my? Okay, here we go. Where's my next color? This one has, I don't know how many colors this one has, 66 or something like that. Yeah, this one has 66 colors, which that's a fair amount. I mean, that's a good amount of colors. I think the reason I didn't bring that one big Dreamer Designs down here is because of the drills. There's 92 colors, and that's just a lot of drill containers to try to travel with. And then I thought to myself, because that I technically only own half of that painting, because Mindy and I went in on it together. We split the cost of it and bought it together. And so I didn't want to be responsible for traveling with that canvas and possibly spilling the drills, because, I wouldn't want to have to explain that. I saw Mindy put out a travel video today. I didn't take a look at it yet, but I don't know where she's at or what she's at, and I haven't talked to her either, so I don't know what she's up to. Don't know what she's up to. But yeah, and then one time when I was talking about traveling again, I had another story about New Orleans. I have got a lot of stories about New Orleans. My friend also lived very near a tattoo parlor. Yeah, you can see where this story is going. So this was I'm gonna age myself. This was back in the day when tramp stamps were the thing. If you don't know what a tramp stamp is, it's a tattoo on your lower back. Um, but they were quite the thing. They were very in at the time, and I decided, and they weren't called that then. Um, that nickname got appropriated at some time later. I decided that it would be a good idea to go next door to where this tattoo parlor, or across the street to where this tattoo parlor was, and get myself a nice big tattoo across my lower back. And of course, you don't want to do that kind of thing sober, right? So I had a couple of root beers and headed on over and got this big old tattoo on the bottom of my back. And I did this the day before I had to fly home. So I had to fly home and I had stops with a layover. It was not a direct flight for me. And then once I got back to the airport in Michigan, I still had a 2-hour drive home from the airport because that's our nearest, large airport, with this very, very angry red. I don't think it was the cleanest, most sterile tattoo parlor. I don't think that's sanitation and sterilization was like high on their priority list. It was sketchy. Put it that way, it was sketchy. And that's the story of how I got the tattoo on my back. Now, this is another little known fact about me. I'm talking about tattoos now. I also have a tattoo in one of the most probably uncommon areas that you can get a tattoo. And, hey Judy, how you doing? If you had to guess a weird place in my body where I have a tattoo, what would your guess be? I want to see if anybody can guess the weird place that I have a tattoo. Because everybody that's in here right now kind of knows me and knows my personality and knows what kind of person I am. I'm not like, I'm just a normal chick. Just a normal lady. I'm a grandma. I do normal things. I don't go out. I don't, I'm kind of a homebody. In fact, I believe I'm becoming agoraphobic. It's so infrequent that I leave the house. I'm starting to get scared to leave the house. All right, let's see. Oh, that's cool, Cynthia. That's very cool. Foot. Nope, Deborah, not my foot. Cynthia, you probably would love Michigan, but definitely if you ever come to visit, which you're always welcome to come visit and stay with me, if you come to visit, come in the summer, like July or August. July preferably, because that's probably our nicest month is July. Every other month besides July and part of August, we're either gearing up for summer or winding down from summer, and it can be cold. It can be very cold. Not very, although fall is a beautiful time in Michigan with the trees and the leaves turning. I think Jody is gonna come and visit from Canada in September. So hopefully she'll be able to see some beautiful leaves, some of our summer foliage. There's a place up in the northern lower peninsula called the Tunnel of Trees. It's a highway. It's not really a highway, it's a 2-lane highway where they call it the Tunnel of Trees because the trees are planted so close to the road that they drape it over the road, and it's like you're going through a tunnel made of trees. And as you're traveling south on it, to the right side of the road is a cliff that drops right down into Lake Michigan. So it's absolutely gorgeous in the fall. So if Jody happens to be here when we have colors, you know, when the trees are turning, I would love to take her up north to do the Tunnel of Trees. Would be a really fun trip. Boy, these are fitting together like a glove. On the boobie. Nope, not on the boobie, Tammy. Not on the armpit. Nope, not on my privates either. You're never gonna guess. So I'll tell you. I got a freaking tattoo on the back of my neck. Yeah. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. It is the one thing in my life that I regret doing. I regretted it almost instantly. I was 18 years old. I went with my boyfriend to get a tattoo, my high school boyfriend, and he was getting a tattoo, and I thought, well, I should get a tattoo too. So this was a spur of the moment thing. No planning or thought went into this whatsoever. I didn't have any images in mind. I looked through, and I was afraid of pain, okay? So when I decided I wanted to get a tattoo, I asked the tattoo guy, where on your body does it hurt the least? And he told me, your neck. And I said, okay, let's put it there then. Never in a million years thinking that, you know, in my future I'm going to have a professional job and possibly not have long hair that's going to cover it. So I went through my life. It was a big, you know, tattoos are pretty widely accepted these days, but when I was joining the professional workforce, it was that kind of placement of a tattoo was pretty frowned upon and pretty undesirable. So I believe that there are jobs that I not lost, but that I could have gotten that I did not get because of that tattoo, because of how unprofessional it looked. And it has no, and the thing is, it's not like it has any meaning. I literally picked something out of a book the moment before they put it on my skin. I don't know what I was thinking. For a long time, I wanted to have it removed, but now that I'm older and retired and agoraphobic and never leave the house, it's like, what's the point? Because, you know, nobody sees me anyway. But now I'm this, you know, 50-year-old grandma with a tattoo on her neck, and I look like, I don't know what I look like, but yeah, so I have a tattoo on my neck. That was my first tattoo. My second tattoo was after I had my daughter Emily. I was so thrilled that I had lost all my baby weight, which I hadn't gained that much. But as a treat to myself, I went and got my belly button pierced, because that was a thing at the time too. Got my belly button pierced and got a tattoo around my belly button, which I then proceeded to have 2 more kids. So what used to look like a cute little ring of flowers around my belly button grew into this like giant garden around my belly button, and then shrunk down to this distorted, colorful blob around my belly button. So that one wasn't so great of an idea either, it turns out. So I'm 0 for 2 right now on the tattoo front. Then I get the one on my lower back, which is not a good tattoo. It wasn't done well. It didn't heal well, I think because I was traveling, or maybe just because it was a dirty place where I got it done. The lines are all thick and smudgy, and it just isn't a great tattoo. Then I went on spring break vacation with my girls and friends and their kids, and we all decided we were going to get tattoos on spring break. And so I knew what I wanted. I knew what I wanted, and I knew where I wanted it, and I knew it was something that I was going to want to add to. and it is on my upper arm, on my, my bicep, if I had a bicep to speak of. And it is the Sanskrit written Om. I wish I could show, I probably could show you. Let me slip my sweater off and stick my arm in the camera. So when it's this right here, just this is what I got the first time. And then a couple years later, I added the lotus flower, which is, because this is a Hindu symbol. And, I added the lotus, and I was going to add, there's a Hindu god of overcoming adversity, Ganesh, and I was going to have him tattooed above, like coming out of the lotus. But it never got that far. So I got a partially completed idea of a tattoo on my arm. So I am 04, so I don't know if I should consider that one tattoo or two, because I got them at separate times, but they're technically in the same place. So I think that still counts as one tattoo. So out of my 4 tattoos, I am 0 for 4 with having tattoos that I like. So I think that I should call it a day, and just accept that I'm a loser when it comes to getting tattoos. What do you guys think? Hey Risa, how you doing? You like the cold, Cynthia? Oh my gosh. Well, then come and visit now because it's freaking cold. It's crazy cold here. I'm so over it. So over it. It never gets warm, it feels like. So Maddie wants her and I to get a tattoo. And we've talked about it for years now. And I don't know if it's a good idea. We actually have the artwork for it already drawn up. One of Austin's friends is a really good artist. You know how you have like that special pet in your life? That one that just was the pet, For us, it was our dog Snail. And you've probably heard me talk about Snail before. She was a Australian Shepherd mix. And she was the best dog in the entire world. She lived until she was 15 and a half. She was a stray. We found her, and adopted her. And when she was about 4 months old, the vet said. And she lived for 15 and a half years. And she passed away 2 winters ago. So since she passed away, Maddie and I have been concocting this idea of getting a snail tattoo. And so the artwork that we've had drawn up is her head in a snail shell, because her name was Snail. Which, and it's really, I know it sounds really weird, but it actually looks really, really cute. It actually is very, very cute, the way that he drew it up. So we've been talking about getting these tattoos since Snail passed away. But I have had, I'm 0 for 4 on liking the tattoos that are on my body. So I'm not sure if I want to go through with a 5th. I don't know if I want to go through it another time and be disappointed. And I think that's why it hasn't happened, because I've been very selective about finding someone to do it, that I really trust their work, because I don't want another ugly tattoo. I've got quite enough of those for one person. Yeah, you're right about Tammy, about in the military tattoos being frowned upon. The same thing goes for police officers. For the longest time, they had to cover their tattoos. So there were summer uniforms, they could wear short sleeves in the summer, but if they had a tattoo on their arms, they had to wear their long sleeve shirts because they couldn't show their tattoos. But as time went on, all of that stuff kind of relaxed, and now they wear their tattoos loud and proud, just like everybody else. So it definitely has come a long way in terms of tolerance. But that one on my neck definitely hindered me from a lot of opportunities for advancement in my career, I believe. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just need to blame maybe it was just my skills weren't up to snuff. But I think that a lot of people did make judgments about the type of person that I was based on that tattoo. And that really isn't fair or cool, but people make judgments on appearances all the time. Okay, getting to the very end here. Do you guys see this teeny weeny little cow down here? It's a little baby cow with his mama. He's so cute. And then I like these, there's turkeys right here, these two turkeys are cool. And then we got some mallard ducks down here. They turned out pretty good. We have a lot of mallard ducks in Michigan. Being that we have a pond, we get a lot of migratory birds that will stop and lay eggs and hatch their young in our pond in the summer. We've had mallards before. We've had wood ducks, which are kind of a cool breed of duck here in Michigan. I don't know if there are wood ducks in other places. Oh, thanks, Cynthia. Tim, you have one for one good, one bad, but the bad one shows. Of course it does, right? Of course the bad one's going to be the one that shows. And that's the other thing with the snail tattoo. I don't know where to get it. Like where on my body to put it. I'm thinking like my leg. I don't have any on my legs. Like, I don't know. Near my ankle. I don't know. It always seems like, and Maddie's the same way. We talk about doing it, and then with the cost of it, we're like, do you know how much yarn you could buy for that? do you know how many diamond paintings I could get for how much that tattoo would cost? So we both get to the point where we would rather spend our money on craft supplies than on the tattoo. Do you guys ever do that when you're thinking about making a purchase, or where you're thinking about or if you're paying a bill or something? Do you think about, oh my God, do you know how many diamond paintings I could buy for that? It's called craft accounting. It's an accounting system based on craft supplies. That'll be 3 Diamond Art Clubs and 1 Dreamer Design. Oh, you need a crown on your tooth? That'll be 2 trips to your local yarn store. I kind of don't even want to get into the hand dyeing of yarn, doing it myself, because I know it's something I'm going to want to continue to do, and that can get really expensive too, I bet. I mean, anything you do can get expensive, right? If you really get into it. Where are my U's? I'm missing a U here. Sometimes I just reach in with my fingers and grab one if I only need one. Oh shoot, it's in the other room, darn it. I wanted to show you that other canvas I'm working on right now. Oh, that's so good, I finished that section while I was talking to you guys. Nice. Then I have to run my fingers over it and find any that are popped up, because I don't have my roller here with me. Plonk them down. I like using the roller to do this. Number 1, because it gets all of them. But number 2, I love hearing the crunching sound it makes when you do it with the roller. on this one. I didn't have too many popped up. I did a pretty good job. Looks pretty good. All right, moving on. Moving on. I gotta move my canvas because I'm moving up. And I already started my next. Hey, Lori, how you doing? Yeah, Jennifer, it's a surprise live. Oh, and Caden's here too. Caden. Yes. I'm working on Country Blessings. You want to see what I've got done so far? See if I can, what I can fit in this screen without. Okay, so I've got starting there. I've got some of the barn or that cobblestone building done. All the cows are done. And some ducks and some turkeys and the swing you don't like. And I've got the tractor and all these flowers. And I'm working on, I started this section down here with the big red barn. All barns should be red. Sorry, my crochet needles are falling away. Yeah, Joe, I hear ya. I agree. I used to love going to the casino. Before I really found crafting, going to the casino was kind of like my my go-to entertainment. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I did for fun. And I always lost. Every time. It was just like throwing money in the garbage. And I finally had enough of that. And when I started doing crafting, I was so happy to have a different way to have a different way to spend my money, put it that way. All right, this might be boring for you guys because you can't see much of the, not that you're looking at me anyways, but you can't see much of the picture. But I got some of the roof done on this barn. There's like quite a lot of multi-placing in this section. I think I'll do this color that has a lot. Judy, to answer your question, yes, I do have a yarn video planned. It's in my head. I have everything that I need to show and talk about. And as I get home on Friday from Maddie's, and then on Saturday we're going to Austin's last show, which is down here in Detroit. So I won't be doing any, and I don't like to record on Saturdays. I don't like to record on weekends because I don't like to do videos when Jeff is home. I don't know why, but I just feel uncomfortable. Even if he's in the other room and I'm in my craft room with the door closed, I feel uncomfortable recording when he's home. When I do my lives on Saturday night, he is home, but 9 times out of 10, he's out in his pole barn because he does, him and Nate have a forge. Have you guys ever watched the show Forged in Fire? Well, him and Nate got into forging a couple years ago, probably about 1.5 years ago. And so they go out to the pole barn and forge on Saturday nights that's like their little Saturday night ritual. Jeff cooks steak and shrimp on the grill, and they go out to the pole barn and forge. So I feel a lot more comfortable when I do my live on Saturday because even though he's home, he's not, in the house. So I don't know why. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know why I feel that way. You love it, Kaden? I'm so glad you love it. See, the swing is cool, right, Kaden? I like the swing. You know what, Joe? You're right. It does get you out of the house, but my problem was I was not one of those people. Okay, I was not one of those people who went there and like spent all my bill money. You know what I mean? I never did that. My bills were paid. I had food in my house, that kind of thing. But I was the kind of person who would go and spend know what your definition, you know what, your definition of not spending much and my definition of not spending much might be different, but I feel like I spent a lot. I feel like I spent more at the casino than I currently spend on craft supplies. So, and I buy a lot of craft supplies. Um, if, if that's any, if that's any reference for you, and I was a big loser too. I never won, and I don't know why I kept going and never won. It was foolish. It was foolish. In fact, the last time I went to a casino was with Berta. That's the last time I went to a physical casino. Now we do have, in Michigan, we have online casinos. I have done a couple online casinos, and I did get a little bit lucky a couple of times, but then, you know, more times than not, I lost my money. So I'm thinking it was probably a net loss, but, you know, it was fun while it lasted. But yeah, the last time I went to a real life casino was with Berta when she was here for the retreat last summer. We went to Greektown Casino in Detroit. And I don't think either one of us won. We didn't stay very long. We didn't have much time. Oh, cool. Kaden, you've got a couple going. Oh, Berta, apparently Angie didn't see my comment. All is good. Uh-oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Oh, let me go back and see what Berta said. Berta said something that I missed. Oh, we all know about my beautiful tattoo. At least my tattoo is free. Yeah, yes. Berta has the best tattoo ever. Well, she used to have it, but it's not there anymore. She lost it somehow. I can't tell the joke because, you know, it's a visual joke. But Berta has a very, very cute joke tattoo. She got everybody with it at the retreat. I think she even did it on Mindy's Live. I'm pretty sure she did. I'm pretty sure she did. Yeah, Kaden, I got a little overzealous when I was I took off, I don't know why I did that. I think because I wanted to do the whole barn at the same time. I figured why not if I've got that color out, why not do the whole roof all together and do the whole side of the barn all together. I don't particularly remember what I was thinking when I took off two sections. Probably wasn't a great idea though, because it just means it's going to take it longer to get done. But oh well. I can just put the cover back over it. No harm, no foul. I must have been feeling especially motivated when I did that. I think that was a middle of the night decision. I'm going to blame lack of sleep. The thing is, I'm working on this painting. It's a landscape-oriented painting, so I'm working on it from the bottom up, and the lines on this barn are all vertical lines, and I'm sitting horizontal, so I've got to twist my pen every time, which is kind of annoying, but what are you going to do? I suppose I could twist the canvas and work on it sideways, but I don't feel like doing that either. That would probably be the smart thing to do, though. Be more, but this way I'm getting more exercise. Let's go with that, because I have to twist my wrist. So I'm exercising while I diamond paint. I just made a complete mess of that row. All right, show of hands. Okay, Yeah, we did get some TP finally. We're such losers. Yeah, we've got TP. I know. I was about to have. I was. It was. It was bad. It was a rough couple days with no TP there. But we've got the TP now. We stocked up. But guess what she ran out of now? She ran out of laundry soap. So now we have to go back to the store tomorrow because she ran out of laundry soap. And the maintenance person for the house she lives in is a rental, and it is a management company owns it. It's not owned by like a single landlord. It's owned by a management company. And they did the city of Hazel Park did an inspection here last week when I was here, and there were some things that needed to be addressed in the after the inspection. So the management company's maintenance guy is coming over tomorrow to fix those things. So, you know, the house isn't a mess per se, but you know, I wouldn't want company coming over. I would do some things before I had company coming over, especially if it was my landlord's maintenance man. Um, but Maddie doesn't seem at all concerned about it. And you know what? It's not my freaking house. She's a 25-year-old grown-ass adult. I am not going to clean her house for her just because I'm her mother. She's 25 years old. If she was worried about it, instead of being out with her friends tonight, she would be home getting the house ready. So I'm just gonna go with that. Mary Lou's here. Hi, Mary Lou. Oh, and then Kaden said I should just take the whole plastic off. Woohoo! Go nuts! Take off the whole plastic. No. You know, I used to do that, Kaden. Truly. I used to take off the entire plastic cover because the sound of the cover crinkling, I was in the middle of the night because I often work in the middle of the night. I always thought that it was going to wake up my family. And so I would take the whole plastic cover off and cover the entire canvas in release papers. And that used up a lot of release papers. I can't even tell you how many packages I've purchased over the years. And there is, you know, you can get, I love the Star Ore brand of release papers because they're truly double-sided and they're very thickly coated silicone, and they are reusable many, many, many times. I've had some of my release papers for over 2 years and they're still as nice as the day I got them. But this past time I cheaped out and I bought some cheap release papers that came like $200 to a pack, and for the same price as what you can get from Star Ore for $60 to a pack. But there's one side that has, you can feel the difference. One side definitely has at least more, they say they are double-sided, but one side feels silicone-y and one side doesn't. So I only ever use the side that feels silicone-y. I've never tried it on the other side because I'm a little bit afraid. But they're much thinner paper too. They're not as thick. So I don't think they're gonna last as long. So if I would rather pay the little bit extra and get the Star Ore ones next time. I shouldn't have to buy any more, truly. I should work on projects and get them finished, and then I would have more release papers, right, Joe? Is Joe still here? Yeah, if I finished some flipping projects, I could get those release papers back. I'm doing really well though, Joe. I'm doing really, really well with finishing stuff up. Lately, I've been a diamond painting fool. When I was home this past weekend, I worked on Cape. Oh, I think I told you guys that I worked on Cape Cod Afternoon. I've got that about halfway done. And then I also worked on here the latest one by Ennis Guerrero, the one that was discontinued right after it came out. It's called like In Serenus Canticum or something like that. And I know I'm not pronouncing it correctly, but I've got that one about halfway done too. That's a round drill kit. I'm working on that while I am working on this chuck. In fact, I worked on that one for about half of the day today. Uh, so I have a round here to work on and a square here to work on. And then I've got at home the same thing, a round and a square to work on. But I'll be happy to go home. Get to go home on Friday. Austin will be home on Saturday. So Maddie will have one day home by herself. Hopefully she can manage. Nope, Joe, we couldn't at least go to the dollar store for the teepee. No, it was a snowstorm. It was, don't you guys remember? It took us 6.5 hours to get here. It took me 6.5 hours to get here from Saginaw. It's a 2-hour drive. It was a blizzard. We couldn't go anywhere. You use your sister's release papers? Are they thick or are they thin? I haven't tried hers yet. I have some, but they were for giveaways. I had some. I've not tried them. Oh, that's cool, Gail. Got a Simona Candini. I like her stuff. Yeah, Joe, that's a good idea. That actually is a good idea because I do travel with, I always have an extra set of clothes in my car. I always have bug spray in my car because you never know, you know what I mean, where you're going to end up, especially with me. I love adventures. And I always keep a pair of boots in my car, but I should probably add toilet paper to the list. Especially if I'm coming to Maddie's. You never know what she's going to have or not have. Kids these days, I tell ya. Oh, that reminds me of one of my other travel stories. Let's go back to that travel crap we were talking about. So, one of the times that I went to New Orleans, I rented a car because New Orleans is a place where you don't need to have a vehicle. In fact, my friend who lived there didn't even own a vehicle. It's a very pedestrian friendly place to live. You can walk anywhere you need to go. And he actually traveled for work. He worked for Nickelodeon, the network. And so he would put on Nickelodeon shows at remote locations across the country. So he was, always flying for work. And when he was home, he could walk to wherever he needed to go because he lived right in the French Quarter. So he didn't have a car. No need for one. Well, I wanted to do some sightseeing. I wanted to go see the Mississippi River. I wanted to, I wanted to go see some other things other than the French Quarter of New Orleans. So I rented a car the one time that I was there, and he had to do something for work. So I just decided I was going to take a day road trip all by myself, and I decided what I was going to do. I looked at the atlas. This was before, electronic GPS. Looked at the atlas and found the road, the highway leaving New Orleans, traveling south. And I decided I was going to travel as far south as I could in Louisiana until I hit the ocean. I was going to just drive south till I hit the ocean. That was my goal. So, here I'm thinking, I'm going to drive south and there's going to be this beach, right? Because I'm going to hit the ocean. Yeah, no, that's not how that works in Louisiana. First off, I'm traveling down this 2-lane highway, and first off, you've got to cross the Mississippi River. Now, the only way, and the Mississippi River at this point is very fast moving, very turbulent, very strong current. the only way to get across this river, other than going out of your way to find a bridge, was on a car ferry. So I had to wait for this car ferry to take me across the river, and it did. It came, and so all the cars pile onto this car ferry and ferry us across the Mississippi River, which was really kind of cool. I mean, it was kind of a neat thing to do. So then I kept going, and there's levees to either side of me, and then I saw some Civil War battle sites and Civil War camp um, areas, like Civil War forts. I think yeah, that's what you call them, forts. So that was really cool to get to tour the rebel forts, I guess you would call it. I mean, just a little bit of American history there. It was a neat thing to see. And then, so I kept driving. All of a sudden, I'm in the swamp. I'm just in a swamp on this road. There's water, because it was high tide. There's water coming up over the road, covering the roadway that I had to drive through. But the road kept going, but there was nothing. There were no houses, there were no businesses, there were no gas stations, there was nothing. It was just miles and miles and miles, as far as the eye could see, of swamp. And then I just got to the end of the road, and there was just more swamp. And that was it. There is no, like, border between land and ocean in that part of Louisiana, apparently. So it was very anticlimactic after all of the traveling I had done to get there. I was very very displeased, to say the least. So by this time of the day, I'm starving, right? Because I've been driving for hours, and I've left all civilization a long, long time ago. So I'm driving back, and there is this big, it was a pole barn without walls. Does everybody know what a pole barn is? It's just like a big barn. It's just like a big barn. I don't know why they call it a pole barn. I think because you use upright poles. I don't know. I could be wrong. I might be talking out of my butt, so don't listen to me. But there's this big open barn, and they've got a couple of pigs roasting on spits outside this barn. And there was a sign out front that said pig roast on, whatever day, public welcome. So I was like, oh, that sounds cool. I'll check that out. So I go in there, and I order my food. There's all kinds of people. They're hooting and hollering, and there's music playing, and everybody's having a good old country time. And these people did not speak English. It was not an English that I've ever known. They were very much, Cajun, Creole people. And I had to order about 5 different times before they finally understood what I was saying. I mean, we went back and forth quite a bit before we truly understood each other. And the first thing out of this guy's mouth after he heard me talk, whoa, we got us a Yankee up in here. It was so funny. Everybody, it was like record scratching. Everybody turned and looked at me, and it was hilarious. You had to be there, but it was satisfactorily embarrassing. And it was embarrassing to the point that after I got my food and my beer, because I had to get beer, because that's the only thing they served to drink. There were no other beverages. You could just have beer. They had big cattle watering trough, metal containers full of ice and bottles of beer. That's all they had. So I got my beer and my plate of barbecue, or pig roast pig, and potato salad, and whatever else, corn on the cob, I think. And I decided that I didn't know if this was a friendly "we got us a Yankee" or if this was a an unwelcome we got us a Yankee. So I decided that it might be better if I went outside. There was a picnic table right by a creek. I decided it might be better if I went outside and sat at that picnic table by myself by that creek and ate my pig roast. So I'm sitting out there, I'm eating, and there's people in there and they're talking and they're pointing and they're talking and they're pointing. Pretty soon, finally, someone comes over me and says, "You know, girl, this ain't the smartest place to be eating." I can't even do the accent. I can't even do the accent. But it took me, again, about 5 different interactions before I understood what he was saying. And I'm like, okay, why is that? There was an alligator right in the creek, right about 4 feet from where I was sitting. And I didn't even see it. Didn't even cross my mind that there would be alligators in this ditch or creek or whatever it was. Yeah. So I was like, oh shit. So I got up real fast, and it turns out they were friendly Cajuns. And I went and had my barbecue with them, and we laughed and we talked and we had a couple beers, and I only had a couple beers because I had to get back on the road. And that was my sightseeing of going the furthest south that you can possibly go in Louisiana, from New Orleans anyway. Is anybody from the south? Yeah, is anyone like southern? Are there any beaches in Louisiana? Or is it all just swampland to get to the ocean? I'd be interested to know that, if there are any beaches, any ocean beaches in Louisiana. I'm missing so much. I'm missing so much. I missed so many. When I get into storytelling mode, I miss all comments. Dish soap travel size. Can I use dish soap instead of laundry soap, Tammy? Is that what you're saying? Oh, you like. I like mom, not mother. And it would be weird to be called mother. It just doesn't seem. Mother? Mother? Could I have some more? Yeah, mother doesn't seem like very loving, I guess. It doesn't feel very warm. I don't think. I wouldn't want to be called mother. It's kind of like when your kid is in trouble and you say their first and middle name. That's what it would be like for me to be called mother. Because I believe my children have referred to me as my mother won't let me, something like that. My mother told me no. Yeah, I don't like mother either. Mother's not good. Mother is not good. I've never been to California. It's one place, and I don't think I really have any desire to go to California. Okay, here's a question. I was thinking about this because I'm watching that travel show, right? So let me ask you guys this question, because I was thinking about this. If you could travel anywhere in the world, all expenses paid, where would you go? Go. I want to know where everybody would go. Because I know where I would go, but I'm just curious to see where everybody else would go. Anywhere in the world. It can be in this country, it can be out of this country. Ooh, Joe would go to Australia. Oh, Maddie ran out of laundry soap. Mary Lou, I believe they did make it. I think Sue said they made it yesterday. Oh, Cynthia, you head south and hit the Gulf of Mexico. There is a beach in Grand Isle. You're Louisiana born and bred, but not Cajun. That's awesome. So I must have just been in the wrong, taken the wrong road because all I saw was swamp. Joe wants to go to Australia. I have an aunt who lives in Australia. So you could go stay with my aunt, and that could all you'd have to pay for was your flight. I can just see calling her up. Hey, Annette, um, there's this guy that I kind of know. Can he come stay with you? Judy wants to go to Alaska to see the Northern Lights. Yes, that would be beautiful. Tammy wants to go to Hawaii. Hawaii would be awesome. I've heard my old boss, him and his wife used to vacation in Hawaii, and they absolutely loved it there. But they said everything is so expensive there because they had looked at like a condo to kind of retire there, but the cost of living is outrageous from what he said. I just based on what he said. Deborah and Mary Lou both want to go to Ireland. That's cool. Sherry wants to go to Hawaii. Okay, so you guys can get together and pool your resources and you can go together. That'd be cool. Oh, Gail, mother reminds you of Schoolhouse Rock. That's funny. No, don't use soap. Okay, I won't. Sean wants to go to Egypt, Rome, Greece, all the ancient world monuments. Oh my God, that's exactly what Maddie and I said. That's exactly what Maddie and I said. Kaden will go to Alaska or to the place where they had those one camps. Or the place where they had those one camps. What camps? Joe says Hawaii is a good one too. I've been on a very short trip, but it'd be nice to go back. Cheryl wants to go to Scotland. That'd be beautiful. Berta says Denmark. That'd be cool. Hey Sue, how are you? Sue Bella's here. Only if you can go by boat, Mary Lou says. Okay, all right. She better feed you good food and meat and not anything weird. Yeah, that's one thing about traveling is I worry about, because I have IBS-D, which IBS is irritable bowel syndrome. I'll leave it to you to decide what the D means. So eating foods, like even if I eat at someone else's house, it really, really irritates my belly. Restaurants are tough. Buffets are, or like potlucks are a way no for me. So traveling internationally, I can imagine for me might be a little bit, might get a touch of deli belly even if I'm not going to India. But that was my number one place for years and years and years. The place that I would go if I could go anywhere in the world would be India. And that started when I was a young preteen teenager. I was in junior high. I read a book called Monsoon, and it really intrigued me and got me interested in India. And ever since then, I've always wanted to go to India. But I don't know if I could do the food. Oh, you want to go to Germany? Yeah, Germany and Poland, Caden, is where the camps were. Mostly. There might have been, were there any in Austria? I don't know. I don't think so. I think mainly Germany and Poland. And um, but Germany would be another place that I would like to visit because I'd like to see the castles, and I'd also like to see the the Black Forest. I'd like to see that too, and they have some really interesting caves in Germany as well. Um, that's another thing that I'm very interested in is cave exploration. I've done a lot of cave tours here in the States, down south, in like the southeast of the country. Um, there's one we took Nate on not too long ago in Tennessee that you ride in a glass bottom boat, and um, it is an underwater lake. And it's a very, very deep underwater lake. And there are fish in this underwater lake. But because this lake gets no sunlight, these fish have adapted over the millennia, over, thousands of years. They don't have eyes, and they're albino. So they're just these white eyeless fish. It's really creepy. Super, super creepy. Nate was really creeped out by it. Now, my question is, okay, how many years did it take them to make that adaptation? Okay. How many years of evolution did it take to make that adaptation? But now here you've got these boats with glass bottoms with lights that shine into the water so that people can see these fish. How long is it going to take before now we're introducing light back into this environment? How long is it going to take for them to revert to, you know what I mean? And become just normal fish again. And then nobody will want to go on the glass bottom boats in the lake. It's weird the way life works. Super weird the way life works. But yeah, my grandpa is the one that got me into caving, spelunking. I love the word spelunking. He was a spelunker. We had relatives that lived in Chattanooga, Tennessee, which is near Raccoon Mountain. And there is there's all kinds of caves and caverns in Tennessee. And we've gone in quite a few of them. Quite a few of them. My favorite are the wet caves, because there's wet caves and dry caves. My favorite are the wet caves because those are the ones that have the stalactites and stalagmites. Dry caves are kind of boring in my opinion. But the dry caves are cool because those have some of the best, they're like, they call it the hard hat tours. You know, the ones, it's not just like the normal people walking through the well-beaten paths. It actually takes you on little tunnels and stuff, and you've got to crawl and scrape and struggle through. Those are the ones I like the best. Oh, so you've been to a few castles? That's cool. Okay, good night, Tammy. I think it's probably too late. Thank you, Sue. It does look good, doesn't it? Berta said I'd like to do African safari minus the bugs. I hate bugs, Berta. I can't do bugs. That's why I keep a bottle of bug spray in my car at all times, winter and summer. I don't care. I'm ready for anything. I'm ready for anything. Obviously, I'm not ready to not have toilet paper, but other than that, I'm ready for anything. Did you ever see Doris Day in Glass Bottom Boat? No. You have a glass bottom boat in your town too, Berta? That's cool. Jody's here. Hi, Jody. I was just talking about you. I am live. Maddie went out with her friends, and so I decided to just go live and have somebody to talk to. I was feeling sad and lonely. I could have called you, I realized that. But this was more fun. No, I'm kidding. No, we were talking about if you come here when the leaves start turning, we should go up north and do the Tunnel of Trees drive because it's so beautiful, right up against Lake Michigan. So, what else? What else can we talk about, kids? Anybody getting new releases tomorrow? Anybody interested in Marvin the Martian, or what's the other one? What was the other one that Rachel Ray did? Sylvester, was it Sylvester the cat? I think. Was that the one? I don't remember. I don't think I'm not really into, I mean, I like both of those guys, but I don't know if I'd want to diamond paint them. None of those cartoony ones ever really caught my interest. And I mean, not that there's anything wrong with them. They're just, I don't know, they're just not my jam. Everybody's got their own preferences, right? I wish I could show you guys that other one that I'm working on. It's looking so pretty. The other, Anis Guerrero. It has crystals in it. It does have ABs, but it also has crystals. And she's a mermaid, and so her scales are what has the crystals, and the way it shines is just so beautiful. I'm really, really liking it. It looks really good. Like I said, I'm about halfway through that one too. But I'm gonna stick to, I need what I need to do, and I don't know, this is so weird because I don't know what this is, what the deal is. Okay. I'm not doing anything differently here than I would do at home, right? I'm just sitting around crafting all day. Same as what I do at home. Why am I being so much more productive here at Maddie's than I would be if I was home? Why? Why, pray tell, do I feel so much more productive here? Like I'm making so much more progress than I would if I was at home. And I don't get it. Yeah, Sue, we'll get together. You're gonna go to Berta's and steal her stash, Kaden? That's a long trip for a stash grab. Yeah, Sean, you're right. It's like too simple. Not much of, yeah. They are nostalgic, yes, definitely, but you're right, not much of a challenge. They're very color blocky and just not my jam. I got told I'm Bubbles from Powderpuff Girls, but I always say I'm going to be the prettiest princess at the party. Yes! Thank you, Berta. Sylvester, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Marvin the Martian, and Tasmanian Devil. Woohoo! You feel more free to do other things in your own house. You know what, Joe? That's probably exactly right. When I'm at home, I have more options, and so I get sidetracked more easily. I'm more apt to start something new because I've got more options. Very smart, you're a very wise man. That's probably exactly what it is. Here I'm limited to just a couple projects, so I gotta kind of stay on task. Well, more than a couple projects, few projects. I need to put my border on that big ass blanket I made. I wish I could show you guys, it's in the other room. I could probably show you. It is a huge blanket. I made it last week. It took me less than a week to make it, and it is like probably 6 feet wide by 7 feet long. It's ginormous. But I still have to put the border rows on it. But the border is just 4 rows of half double crochet, so it's a super easy border. Problem is, it had color changes on almost every row. So I have 7 feet worth of ends to sew in before I can put the border on. And I don't know about you guys, but I hate sewing in ends. And I've got a guy for that at home, that'll sew in my ends. So I'm not, why would I sew them in if I can just take it home and have him do it? So I opted for that route, and I put the blanket on my bed here. So I have been using it actually, because that's going to be for me to keep. I never ever keep the things I crochet. They're always gifts for people, with the exception of a couple of sweaters I've made and hats. But blanket, I've never made a blanket for myself. That's the first blanket I've ever made for myself. So I'd like to get it, finished. It's so funny, this barn here is predominantly orange. It's not really red at all, and I think it is just like a reflection of the direction that the sun is coming from. But I'm putting in a lot of orange in this barn. I haven't gotten to the red yet. I don't know, can you see that? How much orange there is? Sean said at home you feel guilty for not taking care of home stuff. I know I do. Sean, you're a wonderful, wonderful lady, because I don't do anything at home. Jeff kind of takes care of everything. And, I'm realizing as time goes on how embarrassed I am by that. But yeah, Jeff kind of takes care of the house and everything, so all I do really is craft. So I don't really have anything. I mean, I let the dog out, I get the mail. About once or twice a week I'll cook. But Jeff does the dishes and the laundry and keeps the house up. So, no, I don't have that worry. Oh, Jennifer, you haven't been to your Hobby Lobby yet either? I really want to go. Want to go so bad. Kaden would get eaten by the DP monster. What the heck? You know what, Mary Lou? I just heard of Mama Kayla. I'm gonna check her out. I'm gonna have to check her out. I just heard of her recently. All right, good night, Kim. Woke up at 3:10. Ugh, yikes. Good. Yeah, definitely go to bed. Good night. Thanks for coming. Hey, Marla. This canvas is Country Blessings by Chuck Pinson. It's for the Chuck Along. I'll show you what I got done so far, or at least part of it. It's looking really good. I really like it. Yes, Jody, you're right. That's Jeff's love language, is acts of service. That's how he shows his love for me. Yeah. Yeah, Judy, Facebook is killing me with everybody getting their yarn clearance, and they're telling what they paid versus what retail would have been. So I'm hoping, because sometimes, I get paid electronically. I think everybody does these days. And I'm supposed to get my pension on the 18th. But a lot of times it'll come in about 3 or 4 days early. And I'm really, really hoping that that happens so that I can go to the Hobby Lobby down here because it's much bigger than the one in my hometown, and that I'll be able to grab some deals when I get paid, if I get paid early enough. Hopefully they won't be all sold out, and hopefully they won't be all sold out of the yarn I need for Sue's blanket. Aw, thank you, Sean. I appreciate that. Yeah, Jody, I feel so bad for you Canadians because you're so close. You're so close. We should just annex Canada, and you could just be part of the United States. Or they could just maybe the easier thing would be to just open a Hobby Lobby in Canada. That might be the easier thing. See, growing up, Canada is weird for Michiganders because growing up, like right now, I could be in Canada. If I walked out the front door right now, I could be in Canada in 15 minutes, is how close Canada is to us. And so as a kid growing up, Canada kind of felt like just another state. Like it felt like going to Ohio, when we went to Canada. It was no big deal, it didn't ever feel like going to another country. It's weird. It's weird now as an adult to realize you guys are your own separate, you're your own whole separate country from us. And it's even weirder that Alaska is part of the US, but it's on the whole other side of Canada. It doesn't even connect with us. I'd love to go to Alaska, but I would want to go in the summer, and I would want to go somewhere where it stays daylight out all the time. I just think that'd be cool. Berta, are you still here? And I think I might have asked you this question before, but where you live, does it stay daylight out all the time in the summer? Out of curiosity? Oh, you went Saturday, Jennifer, and there weren't any orange stickers? Oh, man. Woo woo! Gail got her refund already! That is awesome! Awesome, awesome. You better go shopping, girl. That's what I'd be doing. We have to pay in for taxes. It sucks. We pay in every year. And Jeff has the maximum withheld from his check. And every year we have to pay in. I don't know. I don't get it. We're surely not rich. That's certainly not the problem, but the IRS seems to think that we owe them more money. So every year we have the property taxes due in February, the license tabs and vehicle insurance. The vehicle license tabs and insurance are also due in February. And then we have the income taxes, which are due by April 15th. So from February till May kind of sucks for us around our house. Actually, more than that, probably from November till May, because November is, we start Christmas shopping and we have Thanksgiving, which is expensive. And then December we have Christmas, which is expensive. January we get a little bit of a break. But then in rolls February with property taxes and homeowners insurance and car insurance and the car registrations. all that happy horse shit. Where's Bellevue? Jody said if she lived on the mainland, driving to Bellevue is only a 3-hour drive, but I have to add a 1.5-hour ferry ride. 1.5 hours one way? How many miles away from the mainland is your island, Jody? Because in my mind, when I picture it, I picture looking off your island and being able to see the mainland. That's what I picture. But that obviously isn't true. I should obviously look at a map because you're obviously way out there in the ocean. I'm going to have to look at a map. Did you know that, Jody, I've been meaning to talk to you about this. Did you know that Pamela Anderson is from your island? Her mom actually lives in the same town as you. I watched a documentary about her life. And her mom still lives there. And I believe she has a house there too. I don't know that she lives there full time, but I think she has a house there. Yeah, Berta, that you've told me that before, that it gets colder. It gets colder here than it is where you live, and I believe that because you're not very far north. I think, yeah, we're just as far north as you are. I mean, not really. You're a little farther north, but you're also way farther west. Oh yeah, I'd have to go pretty up north to see the all day. Yeah, that's what I want to say. Whoa, 65 miles, Jody, off the mainland? So you can't look out your back door and see it, that's for sure. Oh, she lives 10 minutes from you. Cool, so you did know about it. I meant to ask you after I watched that documentary, I meant to ask if you knew where she lived. Wouldn't that be crazy if you had gone to school with her or something? Because you guys are probably about the same age. Did you go to school with her? Maybe you did, and you just never told me that. That's super cool. Super, super cool. Alright, well, I think I finished that color. Finished up that color. Woo-woo. Let's do some red next. Let's get some red in this barn. This barn needs some red. Maddie better be getting her little butt home pretty soon. It's 10:30 already here. She has to get up early tomorrow and go into the office. But see, her problem is she's in her last 2 weeks of work. She put in her 2 weeks notice and accepted a job offer from a car dealership in Saginaw, because they're moving, back up to Saginaw and living in Maddie's grandma's house. And so she started applying for jobs, and she got a few interviews, and a car dealership offered her a position starting at $20 an hour. So she's going to take that. She also has a couple interviews with the city of Saginaw, which is where I retired from, as well as where Jeff works. And as everybody knows, nepotism is huge in city government. So she's got a couple interviews for positions at the city. It'd be nice. We'd both like to see her end up there. It's just it's a good career move. It's, you've got pension, you've got health care, you've got vacation, a lot of vacation time, holidays paid, no nights or weekends. and it's always going to be there. I mean, there's always going to be municipal government, right? There's always going to be a waterworks and a police department and a fire department and a city hall. So um, we're hoping one of those work out for her. But she did tentatively, pending these interviews, accept the position at the dealership that was offered to her. So she starts there like March 27th, I want to say. But their lease on their house here in Detroit isn't up until May 1st. And Austin's going back out on tour on April 11th. So Maddie's going to have to come and live with us from March 27th. She'll probably come, you know, the day or a couple days before. But from March 27th until their lease is up, Maddie's going to be coming and living with us. So I've got to get the spare, when I get home this weekend, I've got to get the spare bedroom cleared out of my crafts. And I've got to condense some of Nate, because that's where Nate has his bed and his clothes, but he never sleeps in there. He always sleeps in his game room on his beanbag chair, which probably later in life he's going to regret, because I'm sure it's horrible for his posture, but he's 14 and a half and he insists on it. So she'll sleep in his bed. So we call it the guest bedroom, but technically it's Nate's bedroom. He just uses it to store his clothes. And I started using it to store some craft supplies. So I got to get that room all cleaned out for her. So it's exciting. It's going to be nice to have her home. Jeff's not excited about it because she eats like a damn animal. You know, you guys all know about second dinner. Well, I've found out this week that not only is there second dinner, but there's first breakfast, second breakfast, early lunch, late lunch, early supper, dinner, second dinner. It just goes on all day. I don't know how she retains the figure that she has with the amount of food that she eats. Those were the days. Oh, hey, Anita, how are you? It's Anita. Oh, that is so cool, Jody. Still looking for cross-stitch trade sites. Oh, okay. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate that. Oh, you watched the documentary too, Jody? It was good. If you guys haven't seen it, I know, you know, I almost scrolled, for exactly the reason you just said, Jody, I almost scrolled past when I saw it was a Pamela Anderson documentary. I thought, oh, great, a documentary about this, you know, bimbo in her sex tapes with, you know, Tommy Lee or whatever. And I thought it was just going to be crappy. But for some reason, I turned it on and started watching it, and it was actually very good. It definitely showed a more pensive, intelligent side to her than what I had imagined in my mind that she was going to be like. So that was kind of a cool, it was kind of cool to see. Kind of a good one. If you haven't seen it, I think it's on Netflix. It might be it's either on Netflix or Prime, I think. Oh, it did, Sherry? Yeah, the Sweet Life does have a lot of orange in the barn. I did that one too. It's on my living room wall. This one's going to go right on the wall adjacent from it, where I have Sweet Life hanging. And it did have a lot of orange in it. If I remember correctly, there was a lot of ABs in the barn too. This one does not have ABs in the barn, which I find interesting because that would be a good place to put them. Well, I guess it does. It has a few. I've already placed them. A very few though. Like here's some, here's some, here's some. Just a few little stripes of ABs. Not a lot. Huh, I could have planned that better and put some more ABs in there. If I was at home, I'd probably have some, what do I want to say? Sparklers I could have put in there too. Sparklers would have been very pretty. I could always swap it out, but you know, there's one thing I hate, it's picking off drills. Ugh. I would rather, okay, here's a question. Would you rather spill drills all over the floor and have to clean them up? Or would you rather have to pick drills off your canvas that you placed incorrectly? Which one would you rather do? I'd rather spill drills on the floor. I hate having to take drills off the canvas. Absolutely loathe it. Loathe it. Oh, Anita, you're working on this one too? Where are you at on it? Sherry'd rather spill, for sure. Definitely. Sean would rather spill. Yeah, I definitely would rather spill than have to pick them off. So that's why I won't be converting any of these to sparklers when I get home, because I'm not picking the drills off to do it. Hey, Brenda, how you doing? Oh, you're on the side of the barn too? Cool. Depends on, yeah, that's true too, Berta. Depends on how many. Totally depends on how many. So there will be no spring break this year in our house. We're not gonna be able to do a spring break trip this year because Nate's going to Washington D.C. for his 8th grade trip. So that's kind of gonna be our spring break trip, which is no big deal. So we'll be having a staycation for spring break, which is, it's nice. I love not going anywhere. In fact, my car, I parked it in the driveway when I got here. Let's see, I got down here a week ago Friday. Well, no, I brought my car on Saturday. So a week ago Saturday. So it's been like 10 days, 11 days. My car has not moved since I got here. I have not gone anywhere except to go back home this past weekend, and we took Maddie's car. So I haven't gone anywhere. Well, we went to the grocery store, but we took Maddie's car. I just don't like going places. Oh my gosh, but I did have to go somewhere. Did I tell you guys this? I don't think I did. I'm pretty sure I didn't. So we went home to Saginaw for the weekend last weekend, and I went live on Saturday night. And then on Sunday, when we were coming back down here to Detroit, Austin's parents had invited us over for dinner to their house. So and they live down here. And so on our way back home, or our way back to Detroit from home, we went to Austin's parents for dinner. And that was, Austin's mom they're both of his parents are the sweetest people. They made this delicious roast with potatoes and carrots and gravy and an awesome kale salad with lemon poppy seed dressing and nuts in it. It was delicious. It was a really, really good meal. And then we had brought a blueberry pie for dessert, so we had that for dessert. But they're such nice people, and I'm just so thankful that Maddie is with someone that not only treats her well, but that comes, that has a good support system and a good family. I think that means a lot. I think that, I really do. I think, he was raised well. He was raised by good people, and he was taught good things. Very unlike my daughter Emily's husband, who I never liked. He had it rough growing up. I'm not gonna lie. He got the raw end of the deal in his upbringing. His dad wasn't around. His mom left him and moved to Florida when he was 15, and just left and moved to Florida. and he spent the rest of his high school, he ended up dropping out because he had to work, but he spent the rest of his high school years couch hopping at friends' houses. Um, but he didn't have the most ideal upbringing, and he was very not knowledgeable in how to be in a peaceful and productive marriage, and also how to be a good dad. And it, in the end, was the demise of their marriage. Because I don't know, did I tell you guys that Emily filed for divorce? I don't know if I told you guys that or not. So they have been living separately because remember last year they were going to they sold their house and moved to Tennessee. And then Emily and my granddaughters came back like 2 months later because Emily just didn't like it there. She had no support network there. She was all alone with the kids all the time. And so she came back home with the girls, but they were still, trying to maintain their marriage. Well, they just decided that it wasn't going to work out. Well, Emily decided it wasn't going to work out. So Emily has filed for divorce, and they are now separated. And he did not take it well. He did not take it well at all. He sold everything he could sell and rented a U-Haul and promptly moved back up, quit his job, quit going to school down there, and promptly moved back up to Michigan to try to regain her love and attention. And that didn't work, and he did not take that well either. So there have been some not too savory incidents that have taken place because of his behavior, which is unfortunate because Emily doesn't deserve that. She's a great mother and she was a great wife, and it's just, too bad that it had to end the way that it did. But, they're still young, and, they've been together. Emily's 28 now. They've been together since Emily was 16. So he is really the only serious boyfriend that she ever had growing up. She never had any other serious boyfriends. I mean, she had, there were a couple of guys she went on dates with or whatever, but after she met him, that was it. They were together. So I think it'll be good for her to kind of see, the rest of the world, because she didn't really get to experience much in her young adult life. So hopefully now she gets some better experiences. It's so cool, you guys, what I'm working on. Not the painting that I'm working on, but where I'm working on it at. Maddie has this awesome coffee table that, watch what I can do. It moves. The top, I wish I could show you this. So there's the coffee table, right? I can lift the top up, and it becomes like a table. Isn't that cool? I want this table so bad. And just sit here in diamond paint on the couch. It brings it right up to, chest height, which is perfect. I don't know where she got it, but I want to steal it. If they don't want this anymore at their new house, I want this thing. This would be, and it's very, very big, and it would be perfect for putting together Legos. Because the one reason I have Legos sets that I haven't completed yet, and the reason is because I can't do it sitting in my recliner. I have to do it sitting on either the kitchen chair, which is highly uncomfortable for my hips and back, or sitting on the couch and doing it on the coffee table, but then I have to hunch over, and then that hurts my back. So that's the reason why I haven't done, I have so many Legos. I have 3 sets that, of buildings that I haven't put together yet. And they're just in my craft room staring me in the face all the time. And I really, really want to put them together. But I don't really, really want to put my back through all that to do it. So there they sit in the box. It is a cool table, isn't it, Sherry? It's super cool. Yeah, it stays up, Jody. It stays up. And it's very, very solid. It's a very heavy table. It's like on a metal lever system that folds into the base. It like folds up and then goes down. It's really cool. Oh, your son has one like that, Jennifer? They're neat. They're really cool. I want one so bad. I should ask her where she got it because they haven't had it for, well, they've had it for a few years. Maybe 2 years they've had it. Maybe she won't want it at her grandma's house. Maybe she's going to use, I don't know if she's going to use her grandma's furniture or if she's taking her own furniture. I think she's probably taking her own furniture because, you know, it's one thing to live in grandma's house and have that nostalgia because that's, you know, was her grandma's house when she was growing up, and you guys know how close she was with her grandma. So it's one thing to have the nostalgia of living in her house, but I don't know about having her furniture. That might be a little bit too much for Maddie, so, you know, emotionally. Because she does really, really miss her grandma. She talked to her grandma every single day. She never missed a day of talking to her grandma. I don't know many I don't know many adult children that can say that. It's funny though, because now that grandma's gone, it used to be Maddie and I would go for a couple days without talking, 2-3 days without talking. But since grandma has passed away, we talk every single day. She calls me every single day. So I've kind of replaced grandma on the speed dial list as her go-to talking person. But yeah, Jody, there is storage inside. There's 2 cubbies on this side, on the sides, and then there's a pass through on the bottom shelf, like a pass through shelf that you can get to whether the table is open or closed. Although if the table is open, you can't really get off the couch because it moves forward too. Like it goes back and down, and now I can get up. But if I have it up, it goes up and forward. And now I can't get up because the table's, you know, right here. Seriously, Sherry, every crafter does need one of those. Oh, here comes the cat. Ernie, don't step on he didn't come in the camera. Don't step on my canvas. He loves to step on and lick the glue. He's so weird. You guys saw Wheels last time I was live from Maddie's. That was just Ernie. Ernie's the cat who has a face that looks like Steve Buscemi. Ernie! Cats don't listen when you call them. That's the way dogs are better than cats. Dogs can at least communicate. Ooh, that's a good vote to have. Let's have that vote. All right, cats or dogs, you guys? Which is better, cat or a dog? Go. I'm definitely dog. I definitely vote dog, for sure. Probably, for one thing, I'm allergic to cats. So that doesn't, that kind of kills the vibe for me right there when I've got my eyes all puffy and itchy and my throat's all scratchy. But I know there's pills you can take for that. And I don't hate cats. We used to have a cat. His name was Binks. I didn't name him that. He was a rescue from the shelter. Binks was his name before we got him. He was a year and a half old when we got him. And there's an interesting story with Binks. Binks just recently, and when I say recently, within the past 2 years, passed away. And it was so weird because I was cross stitching and he was playing on the back of my chair. He was on the back of my recliner, swatting at thread, and he was fine. And that was while Nate was getting ready for school. And I took Nate to school, which is a 7-mile one-way trip. So I was gone it took 12 minutes to get there, probably 5 minutes in the lineup to drop off, and 12 minutes to get back. So I was gone roughly a half hour. I came home and went in the kitchen to get a soda, and my cat was just laying in this really awkward position. Like his legs were like, he was like splayed, like his legs were splayed out in this really weird position. And I was like, Binks, what are you doing? And he didn't move. And I kind of like gave him a nudge, and he didn't move. And he was dead. He just dropped dead. Just dropped dead out of nowhere. Now and he was dead too. He was, because I took him right to the vet. I'm like, I left a half hour ago. My cat was alive. I came home. My cat's not breathing, and they had me bring him right in. But there was nothing they could do. And they could have done a necropsy, which is an animal version of an autopsy, but it was going to be exorbitantly expensive, and still wasn't going to change the fact that he was dead. You know what I mean? So I opted not to do that. So we have no idea how he died, how or why he died, because he was not an old cat. But I was very sad. I cried and cried and cried. But if I had to choose, though, I would choose dog. Let's see what you guys had to say. Linda, I didn't even know you were here. Linda says cats. Sherry says cats. Mary Lou, you can't pick both. You gotta pick only one. Sean says my cats, all 5 come when I call. They do? Good kitties. Ernie. He's just sitting there licking his leg. Ernie. Oh, he looked at me. Ernie, come here. Come here, Ernie. Come here. Nope, you looked away. Oh, maybe. Come here, bud. Come on. Come up here and say hi. Oh, he's coming. Oh my gosh, he's coming. Let's see if he'll let me pick him up. And you can see Ernie. Ah, there he is. But no. Oh, now he wants to walk on my canvas. Oh, wow. Yeah, he's not very photogenic. Hi, Ernest. But his face looks like Steve Buscemi. He's got a really weird face. Oh, Brenda, you got allergic to dogs? That's weird. Oh, good night, Gail. Lisa says dogs. Jody says, you've been training Leo, and he comes when you call now. That's awesome. Jody, also, you say cats. See, I would have pegged you for a dog person. Yeah, dogs are like kids. Yeah, you're right about that. Oh, Brenda, that's so sad. They can't get her fever to come down. That's terrible. Jennifer and Cynthia both say dogs. So it's pretty split, the dog people and the cat people in here. I would say even though Maddie has both a dog and 2 cats, I think she would still choose cat if she had to choose. Oh, they're looking out the window. Is Mama home? Is Mom home? No, they're just looking out the window. But now Junebug is looking at me like, what? But she better get home soon, because she's got to work in the morning. She can't be out at all hours of the night, and she's got to work the next day. But what I was saying is, she accepted the position in Saginaw, starts on the 27th, and is going to come and stay with us. So she had to put in her 2 weeks notice at her job. So she has right now the equivalent of senioritis. If you know what senioritis is, it's when you're a senior in high school and you're almost done and you can't concentrate or do any work because you just know you're done. She has senioritis right now, and so she's having a hard time getting motivated for work, knowing she's leaving. Gotta give her credit though, at least she put in a notice and she didn't just up and say, I quit, you know. She does it the right way, but she is having a very hard time doing it, getting motivated. Guys, how long have I been on here? How long have I been chatting to you? Almost 2 hours. I should probably let you guys go. You probably have better things to do than to sit here and listen to me ramble on about random things. I could ramble all day, couldn't I? But I'll let you guys go. I expect Maddie will be coming home soon anyway. But thank you everybody for hanging out with me. I really appreciate it that you were game to hang out. So I love you all, and hopefully I will see you Saturday after the show. So it's probably going to be late Saturday that I do my live, because we are going to that show in Pontiac to see Austin's band, and that's about an hour and a half drive for us to get back home afterwards. So it's probably going to be quite late if I do go live, but I kind of plan to, even if it is late, because you know everybody's in different time zones anyway. So, all right, well, I'm going to get going, you guys. Thanks a lot for being here and for chit-chatting with me. I appreciate it. And I'll see you guys later. Love you all. All right. Bye, everyone.